So, you've been hearing about AI agents for months now, right? Every company out there swears they're about to change your life. But let's be real, you're probably still the one booking your own flights and juggling a million tabs. The hype is massive, but the reality? Kind of frustrating. Well, let's get into it because something just happened that just might, finally change the whole game.
And really, here's the core of the problem. We have a ton of AI tools that are amazing at talking. They can write, they can summarize, they can give you ideas, but what we've all been waiting for is an AI that doesn't just give you a suggestion, it actually does the thing for you. An AI that can truly act. This slide just nails the disconnect, doesn't it? Over on the left, you've got the big promise, an assistant that takes action. And on the right, that's the reality for most of us. We're still the ones doing all the clicking, the sorting, the managing. We've basically been handed a really smart copilot when what we actually want is an autopilot for all the boring stuff. But what if the big breakthrough didn't come from some billion-dollar lab? What if it actually came from a single developer working out of his bedroom in Austria? Well, that's exactly what happened. One project went so viral, it kicked off this crazy bidding war between Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What exactly is this tool that has the biggest names in tech practically fighting over it? Let's break down OpenClaw.
So OpenClaw, which you might have first heard of as ClaudeBot or MaltBot, is not just another chatbot living in the cloud. No, it is something totally different. It's an open source platform that you run locally, right on your own computer. And this is the key. It connects these super powerful language models directly to your computer's controls, and you command the whole thing just by sending a text message.
And the process itself sounds almost too simple. You install it, you link up your favorite AI model, and then you just start sending it commands like, hey, check me in for my flight, or find the absolute cheapest flight to Lisbon. And then the agent just goes to work in the background, navigating all the web pages and accounts it needs to actually get the job done. It's kind of like having a software engineer you can just text whenever you want.
And you know what? The developer community went absolutely wild for this. It just blew up, like instantly, pulling it over 100,000 stars on GitHub. I mean, for an open source project, that level of adoption is just staggering. It was clear proof that there was this huge pent-up demand for a tool that could finally act.
And that developer buzz, it just spilled right over into massive public interest. We are talking 2 million site visits in a single month. It even led to this quirky, agents-only social network that people started calling Moltbook, where bots would just talk to each other. This thing wasn't just a tool, it was becoming a phenomenon.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the critical catch. All of this power comes with some pretty significant risk. I mean, by its very design, OpenClaw needs you to give an AI full, unrestricted access to your computer. Security researchers, and even Chinese authorities, they flagged this immediately. They called it a lethal trifecta because it combines your private data, the ability to act on its own, and exposure to the wide-open internet. It's incredibly powerful, but yeah, potentially very dangerous.
So with that kind of risk in mind, you have to ask, why would a multi-billion-dollar company like OpenAI go head-to-head with its biggest rivals to get not just the project, but the guy who created it? Let's dig into the strategy here.
OpenAI's reasoning really boils down to 4 key things. First, OpenClaw was this massive, real-world proof of concept that people were hungry for AI agents. Second, it was a defensive move. They were in a bidding war with Meta, and with rivals like Anthropic's Claude already beating GPT on some tasks, there was no way OpenAI could risk this talent building the future for someone else. Third, it's a huge strategic play for the ecosystem. And finally, it was a straight-up acqui-hire, the most direct way to get the creator Peter Steinberger and his brilliant mind on their team.
And this whole thing lines up perfectly with Sam Altman's vision. He's on the record saying he believes the future of AI is extremely multi-agent, where different AIs collaborate to solve really complex problems. OpenClaw wasn't just some cool tool. It was a living, breathing demonstration of the exact future OpenAI is trying to build.
Now, how they structured the deal is absolutely key. OpenClaw is going to stay open source. It's going to live under a nonprofit foundation that's backed but not owned by OpenAI. For the creator, this was a non-negotiable deal breaker. But for OpenAI, it's a classic move right out of the Android playbook. You keep the core platform open to fire up innovation and build trust, all while making sure your models, in this case GPT, are the default engine powering the whole thing. It's pretty smart.
Okay, so how does this all build into something even bigger?
Let's pop the hood and see what bringing OpenClaw in-house really means for the technical future of stuff like ChatGPT, because this is where things start to get really transformative.
Yeah, this is so much more than just a simple hire. It is a massive technical upgrade across the board. OpenAI can now optimize the entire agent process, going way beyond a simple wrapper and letting ChatGPT maybe run code and control your apps directly. They get a ready-made framework for building systems where agents can plan, self-correct, and work together. And with access to insane computing power, future versions plugged into GPT-5 could handle way more complex tasks. And maybe most importantly, they can finally build in the critical safety and sandboxing layers that are needed for everybody to use this.
So where is all this headed? Well, the project's journey is now making a big shift from being a niche, powerful tool for developers to something that could really become your everyday assistant.
The creator himself made his new mission crystal clear. I mean, this quote just says it all. The goal isn't just to empower coders anymore. It's to build an agent that is so simple and so safe that literally anyone can use it. That tells you everything you need to know about the huge shift towards accessibility and user-friendly design.
And here's what that roadmap probably looks like. Right now, it's a developer's tool. Pretty soon, we should expect to see polished user interfaces and easy one-click installers. But the long game? The real future could see these agent capabilities baked deep into Microsoft's entire ecosystem. We're talking Windows, Edge, Copilot, making an AI agent just a native part of your operating system.
And that brings us to the central tension here, the big thing we all need to watch. OpenClaw's success was built on its open-source transparency and the trust of its community. Now it's backed by one of the biggest corporations in AI. So balancing that creative freedom with a corporate strategy, that's going to be the key challenge. And frankly, its success or failure could set the precedent for the entire industry.
Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought from the creator himself. He actually believes that agents could get rid of the need for 80% of the apps we use today. Think about it. Instead of juggling dozens of different programs, you would just tell your single agent what you need done. Now, whether that vision actually becomes our reality is still up in the air. But for the very first time, it's starting to feel less like science fiction and a lot more